Okay, let's get going. We're diving deep, deep into some serious passion today. The biggest, the baddest, the most intense sporting rivalries on the planet.
Not just like any old competition.
Exactly. We're talking rivalries that go way beyond the score. They're baked into the history of the sport, the culture, the whole shebang.
Yeah.
You with me?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about it. These rivalries are more than just games, right?
Way more.
They reflect like deep societal tensions, regional pride, even like national identity gets tied up in these things.
Yeah, it's really something like, how do we even begin to measure the intensity of these rivalries?
Well, you can look at the history, the global reach, and of course the fans.
Oh yeah, the fans. The passion is off the charts. Let's kick things off with maybe the most beautiful game, football.
Okay, love it.
You can't talk rivalries without mentioning, like, the ultimate clash. El Clásico, Real Madrid versus Barcelona.
Right.
This rivalry is, like, soaked in Spanish history, politics.
Oh yeah, Catalonia versus Castile.
Yeah. It's a global phenomenon.
Truly. I mean, when those two teams are on the pitch,
Oh.
it's electric. It's like the weight of history is right there on their shoulders. Every goal, every tackle, it's symbolic. It's more than just a game.
It's almost like a battle for the soul of a nation, wouldn't you say?
Oh, definitely. And it's interesting to compare it to, say, a rivalry from across the English Channel.
Ooh. You think of Liverpool and Manchester United.
Bingo.
Another legendary clash, for sure.
Absolutely. But you see, both El Clásico and the Liverpool-Manchester face-off, they're kind of different from, say, the Super Clásico down in Argentina.
Boca Juniors and River Plate.
Yeah.
That one's infamous, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, passionate fans, but things can get...
Rowdy.
Rowdy is putting it mildly. Sometimes the intensity spills over, right?
Into the streets, into everyday life.
Yeah.
It's like the rivalry becomes a reflection of, well, maybe even an amplifier of,
The existing tensions in society.
Exactly. But okay, we've talked about some of the most heated football rivalries. What about our own backyard? America's favorite pastimes. Baseball. Got to talk about the Red Sox and the Yankees. Boston versus New York.
Oh, that's a classic. Like, those two cities, they almost embody two different versions of America, right?
Like two completely different cultures going head to head.
And you throw in the curse of the Bambino.
Ah, yeah, talk about legendary narratives. That adds a whole other layer of, like, mystique to the whole thing.
Totally.
And since we're on American soil, we have to talk about a rivalry that's dominated basketball for decades. The Lakers and the Celtics.
Coast to coast. And think about it. Those two teams, they've basically defined what basketball is. All those championship battles, all those iconic players.
Magic, Bird, Kobe, Pierce.
Legends. They turn those games into events. Must-watch TV.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of legendary, let's not forget about the NFL's longest-running rivalry, Packers versus Bears.
Oh, that's a good one. Takes us back to the roots of professional football.
It's all about history, grit, those old-school edge-of-your-seat games.
Yeah, the Packers-Bears rivalry. It's like a snapshot of the heart and soul of football. It shows how the sport's legacy lives on and how strong that fan loyalty is, passed down through generations.
A rivalry that spans generations. Okay, now let's cross continents. And this time, the rivalry we're diving into goes beyond just a sport. It's bigger.
You're talking about India versus Pakistan.
The one and only.
Yeah.
And I'm talking cricket here.
Ah, yes. This rivalry, it's like a microcosm of the whole political and historical relationship between these two nations. Every single match.
Is a powder keg.
High stakes. So much emotion. And it attracts millions and millions of viewers globally. It just shows you how sport can get woven into, like, these huge geopolitical issues.
That's powerful stuff. The cricket field becomes like this gorge for something much, much bigger.
Absolutely.
Okay, time to step into the ring. Let's switch gears to individual rivalries. And we have to start with the boxing legends, the Titans. Ali versus Frazier. Those three fights.
Spectacle.
Especially the fight of the century. Man, those were the days.
Ali and Frazier, they were more than just incredible boxers. They were cultural icons. Each one kind of represented, like, different parts of America at a time when things were really, really changing.
So their rivalry, it wasn't just about boxing, was it?
No, it was about so much more. It captured the whole world's attention, athletic skill, social commentary, pure personality. It had it all.
Yeah, those fights were events. They transcended the sport.
Yeah.
Okay, sticking with individual rivalries that have the whole world watching. Nadal versus Djokovic, the modern-day tennis titans.
Those Grand Slam finals, those guys have redefined what's possible on a tennis court.
I mean, they push each other to the absolute limit.
It's like two completely different approaches to the game, two different styles.
Butting heads.
And it makes for some truly incredible matches. Power, precision, mental toughness. Their rivalry has made both of them better players, without a doubt.
Agreed. Okay, before we wrap up, we got to give a shout out to college sports. You know, that college spirit, the rivalries that run deep.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
I'm talking Wolverines versus
Yeah.
Buckeyes. Michigan and Ohio State, baby. American football at its finest.
This rivalry is massive. They're not just playing for pride, they're playing for their conference, for national rankings. It's a battle for a place in history.
And their games. They're like a cornerstone of the whole college football season. So, as we've gone on this whirlwind tour of sporting rivalries, I think one thing's crystal clear. These clashes, they're not just about who wins or loses.
It's so much deeper than that.
It's about history. It's about passion. It's about the collision of cultures. It's about pushing the limits of what's possible.
It's about that drive to be the best.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, right?
What about it?
How do these rivalries shape not just the sports themselves, but the way we see the world, the cultures those sports represent? It's something to really think about.
It is.
What other amazing rivalries are out there in sports and other parts of life? I really encourage you to, go explore and see what you find. It's a fascinating world out there.
I couldn't agree more.